Happy New Year! It is January 1st, 2024. I am so excited to be starting the Pantry Challenge today. I spent yesterday down here kind of refronting everything on the canning shelves because, as I told you, last November I had just, I would take a jar and then I would not pull everything forward, right? Because I kind of wanted to get a feel for what I was eating. And then I came down here and freaked out because I had all of these empty spaces. But I have refronted everything specifically for this challenge because I want a good visual representation at the end, certainly, and as we go through, of how much we are eating from the shelves. I had somebody comment, it looks great, too bad you don't eat any of it. I thought, oh my gosh, we live on this stuff. All right, so let's take a quick look around. I'll bring you down here. I'm also going to show you the back side of this so you can see what items are completely fronted. Look at this, I missed fronting a chicken. And then we'll go upstairs and look at the freezer that I would really like to put some energy into the next couple of months. All right, let's take a look. Okay, so here we are up close. This is the jams, jellies, chutneys, all that kind of good stuff. My tomato products, you can see that they go all the way back on most of the rows. I have chicken down here. This is ugly chicken, just raw packed canned chicken. I have some turkey and gravy down here. So I have lots and lots of soups down here. As you know, I was busy making soups this fall. And then I have some whole meals down here. And we'll go over this way. Those are the sauces, the relishes. Down below I have those pickled hot peppers. I have fruit. I have some pickled coleslaw. This is the raw pack beef, stew meat really. And then the ground beef down here, and then some meals and soups down below as well. Here we have our condiments. So I have hot sauces and steak sauce and barbecue sauce and, oh my goodness, all kinds of things up there. Mustards. I do have, I have some orange juice. I'm going to use that this month too. I have an idea for that. And then my potatoes. As you can see, the potatoes have some empty space back in there. So I've got the 2 lonely jars of French fries and 1 jar of potato chunks. So we'll see. It'll be fine for the next couple of months. And then I have ham and pork, and then I have ground sausage, and then I have all of my bone broth down here. I have turkey, chicken, beef, I have some onion stock. So I think I'm good there. I've got plenty of fats, as you can see, from the grocery store down below there. Okay. I'm sorry the light is bad back here. This is not an area where you're going to spend a lot of time. But I did want to show you that my empty holes are back here. Everything is fronted. You can see lots of empty holes. Not that the, chutney row is completely crucial, although I gotta tell you, it makes everything taste better. So I have lots of empties down here, plenty of empties, plenty of empties. So that is how much we have been eating so far, even with the restocking I've done. A lot of my meats have been depleted because we've been eating those. A lot of the condiments have been depleted. So it is not 100% stocked, but I feel really good about it. All right, so for today's meals, I already have everything I need upstairs. I brought that up yesterday. Probably should have waited for you, but it happened. So I have some snacks we're going to make today. David is going to be watching a lot of football. So we're going to make some spinach artichoke dip for him. We're going to make some crackers for him to dip into that dip. We're going to make probably some ranch dressing so he can eat the lonely little head of broccoli from the garden. And what else is he? Oh, little smokies. He loves those things. So I'm going to make him some of those. And he'll do a hot sauce ketchup mix, his own kind of mix to dip those in. And he's also asking for some grab-and-go muffins. So I'm going to make some more. I'm almost completely out of my flax muffins and this new muffin I've discovered, a little almond cupcake kind of thing. So I'm going to make some more of those 2 things, and we'll see how much we get done today. All right, meet you upstairs. All right, here it is, folks. My garage freezer that I need to work on. It is full. It is seriously full, and it is wonderfully full, and it is full of food that I have preserved. But it has gotten to the point where it is very difficult to do the first in, first out because stuff just gets piled. So what I want to do during the pantry challenge is work through a bunch of this to the point where I can sort again and make sure that nothing is getting lost down on the bottom. So I have pesto still from 2022. I'd like to get through. These peppers are still from 2022. I'm sure that I have probably, well, I know I must have some pork tenderloin from 2022 because I can't even get to that right now. It's way back in there. So we're going to work through a bunch of this, and I hope it's going to look a whole lot neater and a whole lot, I don't know, more useful or usable, I guess I should say, by the time we get there. I still have some slicer tomatoes here, some down in the bins here. So maybe we'll do something with those as well throughout the next couple of months. But that's it. This is the freezer. As you can see, I am not hurting for food. It's gotten to the point where it's so full, I just haven't done a very good job of managing the in and out. This is some marinated beef from a party that we had this summer. I definitely want to get that used. I've got ribs. I think I have wings in here. I know I have a few chicken breasts left. I have this is a pulled pork kind of thing, already cooked from Costco that was on sale a while back. I bought a few of them. I canned one. Nope, I canned two. We ate one, and then I still have this one to deal with. So I may freeze dry that. I'm not sure. But all of this stuff needs to be cycled through. It's time. I do have some hamburger meat. I'm going to make this into a couple of canning recipes, so we'll take care of that. And all right, let's move on. I do keep this locked, not because, by leaving the key here, I think I'm protecting it from anyone other than myself, leaving the door open. So that's my biggest concern with the freezer, is that I leave the door open. So I want to show you a couple more things that I found in my fridge, and not meaning that they were lost, but just meaning that I forgot to mention them the other day when we were talking about what I had. So I have some sweet kale salad, the bag stuff you get from Costco. I've got a couple of those. And I have some boxes of egg whites, that I get from Costco. And I make my keto wraps with those. And yesterday in the garden, I did find one past its prime, small secondary head of broccoli. So you may see that today. David loves to eat broccoli with some ranch dressing. And that's it. I think you've seen everything else now. All right, let's start using this stuff. Okay, this is a recipe for almond flour cake that I've recently discovered. Now I do it as muffins for our purposes, but it is quick and easy. It's delicious. It can be a breakfast muffin. It can be more like a dessert muffin. We think it's fantastic, and it's a nice change. So we're going to make these today. I've got 4 eggs. Let's go ahead and add my extracts to those. And I'm going to get my dry ingredients in the dish here. 3½ cups of almond flour. I have a tablespoon of baking powder. 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt. 1/2 cup of allulose. All right, I'm going to get my softened butter in first. Now, I can't use butter, so I'm using butter-flavored coconut oil. And so I have softened that. Tried not to melt it completely, but soften it a little bit in the microwave. So hopefully that will mix in just fine. I'll go ahead and get my eggs in there. And then she also calls for 3/4 cup of sour cream. I need a dairy-free alternative So this is full fat coconut milk. I'm going to do about a half a cup instead of the 3/4 cup of sour cream. Maybe I'll start with a third of a cup. All right, I think that's good. So I used a third of a cup. Now she puts, as a cake, she puts a glaze and some toasted slivered almonds on top of this. I just do it as the muffins. So I want to wrap it up for the freezer. I'll put half of these in the freezer and half of these in the fridge for this week. Okay, I'm going to put these in a 350-degree oven. If we were doing the cake, it would be 35 minutes. I'm going to set a timer for 20 minutes and check them. As I recall, last time I made them, it was about 25 minutes. All right, well, I already have a mess going here. Let's go ahead and make some flax muffins as well. When I mentioned those in my Azure haul, I had several folks ask for some flax recipes. I grabbed some more almond flour, so let me fill up my container. All right, let's get our almond flour, which is 1 cup of almond flour. This is from the website Sweet as Honey. I'll link it down below. I use this as a base for so many of my muffins. It is so good. And I promise you just won't know that it is also keto and doesn't use real flour. It turns out so perfectly. A tablespoon of baking powder. 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. I go heavy on the cinnamon because I really like it. But feel free to stick to the 2 teaspoons if you'd rather. And then she uses a half cup plus 2 tablespoons of erythritol. I don't use erythritol, so I'm going to use allulose. And I'm going to do a little bit over half a cup. All right, 4 large eggs. Let me get this mixed up first. All right, good enough. Okay, my eggs, that's 4 eggs, scrambled. Half a cup of unsweetened almond milk. I use just regular coconut milk. I don't use the full fat on this one because there is no, as far as I know, full fat version of almond milk. So I figured this is closer to what she means. And then half a cup of coconut oil or melted butter. I used half coconut oil and half that stuff, the buttery flavor coconut oil. So I'm going to measure half a cup out of that. I have slightly melted it. And bake these at the same 350. All right, that's it. Let's get these in the muffin tins. Now, just like the almond cake that we just did, she includes directions for sugar-free cinnamon sugar to sprinkle on top or sugar-free icing. I don't use either of those because we treat it more as a muffin than a cupcake. Now you'll notice I have used 8 of my eggs. I am a little low on eggs headed into the pantry challenge. But I had a text from my friend Christine yesterday. So the chickens are laying again and she has eggs for me. So thank you, Christine. I'm so excited. As I said, I usually freeze half of these and they freeze just perfectly. And I have used chutney with these, turned them into more of a fruit cake-like cupcake. I will make for you my gingerbread sometime this month. This is the base recipe for that as well. It is fantastic. You can put blueberries in these. All right, I'm going to put these in the 350 oven for 20 minutes. Okay. Almond muffins are done. How amazing do those look? All right, I'm going to set these aside to cool, and we're going to get going on some almond crackers. This is a copycat recipe that I'm going to show you today. Okay, I'm going to show you one of my favorite copycat recipes I've come up with. Do you know the crackers by Simple Mills? They're almond flour crackers. Although they are not keto, they have plenty of carbs in there that don't need to be there. But they're gluten-free. They're pretty darn good, but they're pretty darn pricey. So I have made my own. You see, I added black seeds to these, which I'm going to add today, but my base recipe for the Simple Mills Copycat does not have the black seeds in it. But it's a great cracker. It crunches like a cracker. It stands up to a dip. It's fantastic. All right, I'm going to make a double batch. So we're going to start with 2 cups of almond flour, 1 couple of tablespoons of flax meal. We're going to do a teaspoon of salt. Now, that's the base recipe plus some water. But I'm going to show you what I add to make it taste so much like those Simple Mills crackers. Okay, 4 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. That would be it, except for the water and the flake salt on top if we're doing the copycat recipe. Because I like the taste of flaxseed so much and I love the health benefits, sometimes I think it's called Nigella sativa. Sometimes it's called black cumin seed. Anyway, I'll put a link down below if you want to take a look at some of the health benefits. All right, I'm going to need 6 tablespoons of water. All right, I'm going to turn this into crackers. It'll take a minute to come together. Flaxseed will soak up all that water and it'll form, you know, a nice little dough. We're going to roll it out. Just want to get it so it all comes together. All right, I'm going to put it on some parchment paper. I'll grab another sheet of parchment paper. You see a muffin you want, don't you?
I want food.
Do you want a muffin?
No.
We can show it on camera. Not you, but the muffin.
Okay.
All right. All right. David just came wandering into the kitchen looking for a muffin. So this is our almond muffin that we made earlier. Let's take a look at that. Oh, it's gorgeous. It smells so good. Here.
Thanks, babe.
I'll get half of it. Not much of a rectangle, but it'll do just fine. So you can be very nicely precise on this. You can cut them into the little squares like the almond milk crackers. I just kind of go with the flow here. We're going to get these cut up into squares, and then I'm going to sprinkle with some flake salt. That to me is such an outstanding ingredient. All right, this is the flake salt that I use. I've had this one box from, it was made in April of 2018. So coming up on 5 years now, and its best by date is 2032. So even though it's a little pricey of an initial purchase, you will have it for a very long time and use it often. All right, we'll get it right in that 350 oven. It'll go about 20 to 25 minutes. You do want to keep an eye on the edges because they tend to be, at least the way I roll, they tend to be a little thinner than the center. So we may go ahead and pull the edges off sooner so they don't get too brown, and then let the center continue to cook for a few extra minutes. Let's get started on the artichoke spinach dough. This is the recipe I use. I'll link it down below. It's called Paleo Spinach Artichoke Dip, and this is my most requested appetizer. I ran into my first casualty of the Pantry challenge. This recipe calls for onion powder, and I don't have any onion powder. However, I do have some minced onion and a spice grinder. So we are going to make our own onion powder today. I will not be defeated by onion powder. All right, so this is going to start with some artichoke hearts. I am going to drain these into the sink, and then I'm going to rinse them off because I don't want the canola oil. And then the recipe calls for 3 cups of chopped spinach. So this is the baby spinach I told you about the other day. I got it last week knowing I was going to make this. And it has a best by date of yesterday, so I think it looks fine. I'm going to chop up 3 cups. And I'm going to do it relatively finely. All right, 2 cups, 1 more. All right, 3 cups of spinach and a big mess later. That is good. I'm going to get the artichokes diced up. All right, let's get these artichokes out. They're rinsed and drained. And I'm going to chop these relatively small as well. All right, I'm going to get the nutritional yeast in. Uses a 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast. If you don't care whether or not it's dairy-free, feel free to use Parmesan cheese. Recipe calls for a teaspoon of garlic powder. As I said, I tend to up the seasoning, so I'm going to use a teaspoon and a half. Teaspoon of sea salt. Okay, so not quite as powdery as real onion powder, but not bad. I'm going to use that, and I'm going to do, there's 1 teaspoon, and I'm going to go ahead and add another 1/2 to 3/4 of a teaspoon. Now I can do the paprika. Calls for a 1/2 teaspoon of that, and then it calls for a dash of cayenne pepper. We're going to use mayonnaise and full-fat coconut milk. Again, you can use mayonnaise and sour cream if you're not dairy-free, or you can use heavy whipping cream. All of that is just fine. All right, I need 1 1/2 cups of mayo and a 1/4 cup of coconut cream. So I'm going to go ahead and get the coconut cream in here first. All right, 1 1/2 cups of mayo. Okay, that is ready. Now, there's no need to grease it because heaven knows we have enough oil in there between the mayonnaise and the coconut cream. This is not the dish I normally use for it, but as we are in the process of moving stuff around for this kitchen remodel, I cannot get to my platters at the moment. All right, this is going to go in the oven for 25 to 30 minutes at 350. And I will show you what that looks like when it comes out. David is already asking for it. Okay, the artichoke dip is done. David surprised me, said he doesn't want anything to eat except the artichoke dip and the crackers. So no little smokies, no broccoli dipped in ranch dressing. We'll save those for another night. I'm going to get him set up. I'll bring you in real quickly to see the top of this. It looks beautiful and it tastes amazing. All right, can you see this now? It would be prettier in a pretty serving dish, but until I can get back to my dishes, it is what it is. Let's serve some up for David. He's going to come back and reserve himself multiple times, but I'll just show you a bit coming out. Oops, it needs to set up just a little bit. Still a little runny, it just came out of the oven. All right, I'll let him get the rest himself. We'll finish up some crackers. All right, it may not look like much of a dinner to you, but David is pretty excited about it. All right, I will see you tomorrow. It is 5 o'clock now on the 1st, and my kitchen is closed. Okay, so the kitchen is closed. I know it doesn't look like we ate a whole lot today. We had a huge breakfast. It was very late because today is New Year's Day. We slept in. I slept in. We had cheese omelets with chicken sausage, and it was probably 11:30 or so when we did that. So that was terrific. David had the raw A2 sharp cheddar from Azure. Oh, it was fantastic. He loved it. I took a little snippet and it was terrific. I had the goat cheddar cheese from Trader Joe's, which I like, so I went and got plenty of that last week. And that's it. Done for the day. See you tomorrow. All right, let's move on to day 2. The contractors arrived at 7 a.m. this morning, so breakfast just didn't happen. But as soon as I took a lunch break, I was back in the kitchen. Having canned bacon in the pantry is such a time saver. Every time I use it, I'm shocked how easy it is. This is the second batch I've made. I'll definitely be making more. All right, so today for lunch, we are going to use this iceberg lettuce that I bought for a specific recipe, and then I forgot the main ingredient for that recipe. So we're going to punt on this one. I have some canned bacon in the air fryer from March, so I pulled that this morning. I have a few little hot pickled peppers left in this jar. I have some hot cherry peppers in this jar. I have a little bit of leftover turkey from the deli from last week, and I usually have some salami in the drawer because David loves to just snack on this. So I am going to make what we call unwitches. We get them at a little fast food joint called Jimmy John's. It's one of our favorite places to stop on the road if we can find it. I don't even know if we have one here in town. But anyway, that's what I'm going to do. So they call it an unwich when you get a sub sandwich without the bread. They just wrap it in iceberg lettuce. So I'm going to try. I'm a little intimidated by trying to peel this in full sheets of lettuce, but we'll see how that goes. Meanwhile, I have the bacon in for 4 minutes, but it's looking pretty good right now. It's only been in for a couple of minutes, and it's looking, I hope you can see that in the camera, it's looking pretty good. I think I'm going to let it go a little bit farther. I do like my bacon crispy, and it's still a little squishy. All right, so let's see how we do this. I'm sure that there is a preferred method for this, but I do not know what that is. Whoops. All right, somebody's going to tell me how to peel an iceberg lettuce so it comes off in nice whole leaves. There we go. Okay. Not perfect, but that's all right. I think I can make it work. All right, I think I'm going to call that done. Okay, so that ended up taking 3 minutes. All right, so let's just get some of this off of here. All right, let's see how that works out. Not pretty like that, but hopefully it'll work out fine. I think this is going to use up the last of our turkey, which is good. I don't want it to die. I did take out some frozen chicken breast for dinner, so I have those defrosting. I think I'm going to do those on a salad. So we'll try to do something fun there. This is David's sandwich, so I'm going to start with the hot cherry peppers. All All right, and some bacon. Most of this turned out pretty crispy. That piece fell over a bit. Crispy, oh my gosh. That's really good. All right. Now, I'm thinking I can just put something on top of them here and squeeze them together. That is not the prettiest sandwich I've ever made, but it's going to be delicious. All right. Babe, I have your sandwich. I'm going to try to make mine now. Okay. Again, not gorgeous, but it looks delicious to me. That is lunch. We'll be back for dinner. I think I'm just going to grill the chicken breast, and I'm thinking I'm going to use that, I don't know, what do they call it? The broccoli and kale slaw type salad that I have from Costco. And we'll make a dressing, have the rest of this bacon on it, maybe some nuts of some kind. Anyway, I think it'll be terrific. See you then. So dinner tonight is going to be a citrus grilled chicken and sweet kale salad. These are the chicken breasts I took out of the freezer this morning. They've been in there almost a year, so it's definitely time to cycle through. So David's going to be doing the grilling of the chicken tonight, so I'm just going to get these sliced in half and marinated while the grill heats up. I grabbed a jar of that orange juice I mentioned when we were at the pantry yesterday, so I'm going to use that in both the marinade and the salad dressing. We're going to have a super easy salad tonight. This is a sweet kale salad that's filled with cruciferous veggies. It comes in a 2-pack from Costco, and I have one more 2-pack in my garage fridge. Then it's back to plain kale salads from the garden. Tonight I'm not using the pack of pumpkin seeds and dried cranberries that comes in the kit, and I really never use the dressing. Instead, I'm going to use some of the sugar-free dried cranberries we made last month, some cashews, and then I'll make a citrus vinaigrette dressing. So I ran into snafu number 2 already on this challenge. I would normally use shallots to make the dressing, but I'm completely out. I had to use garlic and a bit of onion instead. So this is my mini Cuisinart processor that I love. It was my self-selected birthday gift about 10 years ago. It weighs virtually nothing, and it's so much easier than pulling out the big processor. I use this thing every chance I get. So to the onion and garlic, I'm going to add a bit of orange juice, some liquid allulose, Dijon mustard, lime juice, olive oil, and salt. It took me a bit to get it right this time because the onion was really throwing me off. So these are those bowls that I got back in November. David really loves these. He suggested yesterday that we completely replace our white bowls with more of these. So I'm not really sure I can part with my white dishes, but these are fun. So we have 6 pieces of chicken here that David has grilled for us. We had 2 tonight. And we're going to have the others the next couple of days for lunch with the rest of the spinach artichoke dip. I know some folks don't like leftovers, but I love having leftovers ready to go. It just makes it so much easier for me. All right, this one is one of those new canning recipes that we're taste testing tonight, so I'm not going to talk too much about it, except to say that it's not perfect yet, but I hope to get it out to you in February. We had it tonight with some keto noodles and a side salad, and it was nice and warming and hit the spot. So we got another real breakfast on Thursday morning. It's a cheese omelet again and some chicken sausage. So this one was a fun kind of throwback dinner from our childhood, and it was perfect for a cold, gloomy day. This is the tomato soup I made earlier this year, and I'm just going to add some basil and heat this up a bit. And while this is warming up, I'm going to make some grilled cheese sandwiches to go with it. For David's sandwich, I used the last of the raw cheddar from the Azure order, and I used the goat milk cheddar from mine. I'm using a new zero-carb bread that I discovered last month. I know there are a few varieties out there now, but I really like the ingredients in this one. Although there is gluten, but as a whole, it's very clean. It's certainly not a cheap loaf of bread, but it is exactly like real bread in taste and texture, and it has 0 carbs. I'll put a link down below if you'd like to check it out. The link should get you $10 off your first $40 order. I'm not sponsored by them. That's just a standard link. I'm using the wheat bread version tonight. The white bread is also excellent. I also have their burger and hot dog buns and tortillas in the freezer. So we'll try those later this month too. But so far, David is just beyond excited to have this bread in the house. So I would normally have added some coconut milk to the soup, but I think I was too excited about the grilled cheese to remember. Anyway, this was total comfort food for David, and he absolutely loved it. All right, it is Friday morning, and we have another early start for the kitchen project. So I just made us some old-fashioned peanut butter and jelly sandwiches on the Hero white bread. This is some sugar-free grape jelly that I made last year, and of course it's 0 carb bread. It was a great little sandwich. Not what I normally have for breakfast, but it was perfect. So I'm going to stop here for this week so I can get it posted in time. Stay tuned for some clips that ended up on the editing room floor, and I will see you next week. So if you happen to have, oh my goodness gracious, maybe I'm going to open these, maybe I'm not. Okay. So I know that Trader Joe's makes some just plain frozen artichoke hearts. That would be terrific. Good grief. Okay. I'm sure that there is a preferred method for this, but I do not know what that is. Whoops. All right, somebody's going to tell me how to peel an iceberg lettuce so it comes off in nice whole leaves. There you go. Okay. Not perfect, but that's all right. I think I can make it work. That piece of the lettuce is tired. I think at Jimmy John's, when they do this, they just, I don't know how they get their lettuce off the head, but it's not always whole pieces, and they just pile them up together and make a wrapper that holds together. So that might be my approach. I think there's a better way though. I give up. All right, so let's just get some of this off of here. This is ridiculous. I'm going to cut it, and we're just going to see what we end up with. It's easier, and I don't think I lost much of the lettuce. Shoot that way. Okay.